All right, this is the follow along of the SROMP, soft range of motion practice, level 1 for the arms. Please make sure you watched all the instructional videos before you are doing this follow along, because here I'm not giving very detailed instructions. We are just following through the thing. Yeah? All right, and let's start. We're starting with the hands, and we are starting with the finger wave. It's 1 minute per side. Notice several things in this SROMP level 1 for the arms are one-sided. We do one side first and then the other side. Now here in the wrist and also then in the elbow. But if you get more proficient, then you can also do both sides at the same time. Yeah? And then you can do only half time, half total time, or you even do the same time that you would usually take to do both one after another, and then you get more done. But in the beginning, please do it one at a time to really focus on one hand or one elbow to really learn the coordination. Yeah. So I'm waving the fingers. Now we're switching already to the other side. And going through the full range. As I said, please watch the instructional video of this stuff. And make sure you do the pace that is good for you. Yeah? You can start with a very slow pace and then slowly increase the pace. Because with the higher speed, you will also become more soft in the joints, and this is also what we want. So we want to become controlled in the movement and know what we are doing, as well as soft and able to move. Next one is stretching the fingers. So I'm going one at a time, really bring it into extension. Yeah, going with the other thumb over here. It feels a bit like a little massage also. Really bring it into the extension. Because we grab a lot, it's good to also go into the other direction. Yeah, many people get very stiff in the fingers because they do a lot of grabbing but not a lot of extension work, especially if they don't do anything on the floor where the fingers are in the extended position, but are just spending the whole day typing or grabbing things. That's why we want to bring the fingers again into the extension. Again, you can always do your pace. Four lines in the wrist with an open kinetic chain. Look, this is the first line. Up and down. Up and down. Yeah, and you see the wrist is not moving in space. Yeah, but the hand is moving up and down from the wrist. You see there's no movement here in the fingers now. Now it's the wrist moving up and down. we're doing both sides, and now I will change from one side to the other, but you could also do one side first and then the other side after. It's completely up to you. And again, you can do slow speed and higher speed. And I'm trying to really like pull here, boom, to have high range of motion, and then pulling also at the top. And I'm switching to the other side. As I said, you can do it also in the other way of doing one side first and then the other side, or changing in the half, changing back then, and so on. This really doesn't matter as long as you do all of them in the end. Of course, it changes something about how you do it, but it's not that one is better than the other. Make sure you're using the full range of motion that you can voluntarily use. Also notice that we want to vary in the degrees of supination and pronation, which means now, as you see, I have the palm facing down, so this is for most like the intuitive option to use this, but I can also go into other degrees of supination or pronation. I will show this in a moment. So now we are going side to side, side to side, and see. For example, now I go 90 degrees in a different angle. This will change, obviously, the activation of the muscles, yeah, because now I work in a different line here, yeah. So as gravity is pulling down, this muscle here that is pulling me up has to be actively much more active than when I'm doing it here, where these muscles that keep it up have to be active. So if you change your angle in space, it will obviously change a lot in the activation of the movement. And that's why I say go into lots of different variations of supination and pronation, because these micro variations are actually making a change. Yeah, we are on the other side, if you didn't notice. As I said, vary the degrees of supination and pronation. Do your speed in the beginning very slow. Now the combined lines, which means I go up and to the right, and down and to the left, up and to the right, down and to the left. Yeah. Also here I can vary the degree of supination and pronation. Also notice I can bring the elbow and the shoulder in different position, and it obviously also makes a choice. So if I do it here, or if I do it here, yeah, or here, this all makes differences in how the movement works. But make sure you keep the basic thing alive, that you go up and to the right and down and to the left. Up to the right, down and to the left. And then once you feel, okay, this works well, you can start to play with it and do more and more micro adjustments that will all change a tiny bit how the movement works. So we are on the other side now. Now I'm going up and to the left and down and to the right. So I'm mirroring what I did on the other side. You could say also up to the inside, out, down to the outside, up to the inside, down to the outside. And the last line is up to the outside, or in that case of my left arm, to the left and down to the right or inside. And like I said, when you feel more confident, then start to play with different degrees of supination and pronation, or with elbow more bent, elbow more straight, or having the hand in different positions in space, and so on and so forth. You can also do this sitting, or you could do this lying down. Yeah, you can do it in all sorts of positions, and as I said, all these micro adjustments make a change. So the moment you feel bored, then just change something, and then you shouldn't feel bored anymore, but it should be a new challenge that is arising. And always make sure you're using full range of motion. We are changing sides. So now it's up and to the right and down and to the left. All right, this is the wrist work, and now we are going to the elbows. So we are doing one elbow at a time, but as I said, if you're already more proficient, then at some point you will do one elbow after another. So I'm bringing the elbow and the hand is facing towards me, or both at the top and the bottom, facing towards me, down also facing towards me. But there are different configurations here as well. This is just coordinatively the most easy variation, I would say. Yeah, and I'm going up and down. Here I can also change the position in space that I do. Yeah, I can be here in front, I can be down, I can be on the side. But there is this extension and flexion and supination and pronation happening. So this needs to be kept alive all the time. Doesn't matter in which position you're going. Yeah, I can also change the position of the shoulder into something else. Yeah, so when I'm here and change, okay, now I can work over here, boom, into this awkward position of the shoulder. Yeah, but as I said, you don't have to do things like this in the beginning. You can just keep the normal position and then just play with it once you feel more proficient. Okay, to have all these micro variations. And it feels a bit like a spiraling motion that you're doing here. I sort of like it like this. We are on the other side, in case you didn't notice the beep from my countdown device. Okay, yeah, and I could also, like, instead of starting here with the hand facing me, start with the hand facing away, and when I'm down, it's also facing away. So it's facing away, facing away, facing away, facing away. That would be the opposite coordination. I'm changing it back to the first coordination. Now we are going to the shoulders. We have 3 more things here happening for the shoulders. They're both I did a tiny bit longer the elbow than what is written in the program. Whatever. Did 90 seconds instead of 75. So now we're going for 75 seconds of the arms. First we start arms in front and retraction, protraction. So pull the arms together that the shoulder blades touch, and then the shoulder blades away from each other. Pull them together, they touch, away from each other. Back and forth. Tuck, tuck. Yeah, and make sure the shoulders stay down, away from the ears. Shoulder blades touch, shoulders down, shoulder blades forward. Retracting, bringing them back together and putting them apart, away from each other. Shake it off just for a moment, because we are going to the next thing, which is the arms to the side and internal and external rotation. Make sure you're really moving from the shoulders. Yeah, it's not about supination and pronation in the arms. It's really moving here from the shoulder joint. So there's no motion, no movement here in the joint in itself. It's all coming from the shoulders. And also here, keep the shoulder blades down, away from the ears while doing it. And try to really rotate into external rotation, back, and into internal rotation. Boom. And like the eagle flying to catch a goat. Shake it off just for a moment, because we are continuing. We are going overhead and we are going into elevation and depression. Elevation and depression. Yeah, I know now it's burning the muscles. Maybe you start to sweat also a bit if you haven't before. Yeah, depending on where you are. If you do it at the North Pole, then maybe it's not enough to bring you to a sweat. But I feel how I'm really starting to get warm. So this is also a good warm-up before you do something like strength training or whatever. But your arms, shoulders, elbow, wrists will be very warm after this SROMP. Up and down in the shoulders, really down, really having the space between the ears and the shoulders, and really up, pulling them up. All right, and that's it.